So we're going to finish up now. In fact, we're 5 minutes ahead of schedules, which I think is quite impressive given the roller coaster ride that we've all been on. But in a way, this is the most important bit of the day. You know, I don't know if any of you go to yoga, they always tell you that bit at the end is the most important part. And in a way this is, because it's partly a sort of reflection on everything we've heard, but it's also, we've called this session, What Next? And of course, if we all just go home from this going, well, that was nice and I had a delicious lunch, then, you know, we've not really achieved what we wanted to achieve today. So those of you who were here last time will remember that we did an activity then where I gave everybody a postcard and or a bit of paper, and you wrote a message to yourself for what you committed to do as a result of today. Of that day. And I want to do something similar today. The idea of having the postcard, and in fact, what we're doing is not just any old postcard, ladies and gentlemen, but you're going to get a Sapoon filigree card, so you will all get one of these to take home with you. The idea is that you write yourself a message about today, about what you want to do as a result, and then you put your address on here. If you're feeling kind and you've got a stamp with you, you put a stamp on it. If not, then I'll put a stamp on it, and I'll post it to you. So it will then arrive in a few days' time at your house when you've just forgotten about all of this and got back into end of term or beginning of holidays or whatever else you're busy with. And hopefully it will then be something very pretty that will sit on your fridge or your desk or your mantelpiece, but also a reminder to you of the thing that you thought that you would do as a result of today. So I am going to get to see these, all right? So I'm just telling you that beforehand. But it's up to you what you write. And I just wanted to make a few suggestions for the kinds of things that you might want to do as a result of today. Because I always feel that, I think I have 7, I'll see if I can remember all 7. I think there are 7 sorts of ways that people contribute to the Ideas Partnership. And they really are all very, very valuable. So, and some are out of some people's reach because they're very time poor or money poor or whatever, and others are, we've each got something that we can contribute. So there is, as you've heard, a whole range of volunteering opportunities, and almost everyone in this room has already done or has plans to do some kind of volunteering. So, of course, we'd love that if any of you feel that you've got time. It could be reading by Skype with our children. It could be help with applying for grants even while you're in this country. It could be help for PR and doing work on our social media and other kinds of things that can be done electronically from a long distance. Or it could be coming to Kosovo and doing some things in Kosovo, like lots of you already have done or have thought of doing. But don't let the geography put you off, because it doesn't have to be that. So that would be lovely, but I also know that everyone's very busy and that might just not fit into your life. So it's not that we're asking you to think of something to do with your time necessarily. It might be that you're contributing your skills, which is sort of different from your time, because it might be that actually it's a very small amount of time, but mentoring somebody else or passing on your skills or your idea or your model or your experience to someone in the organisation or another volunteer who's got the time but hasn't got those experiences. So, maybe you haven't got a lot of time, but you know that if you could just share this, then the Ideas Partnership could make use of it. So think about what skill you might have, even if it's not something you can commit to doing for a long time or very regularly. The third thing, of course, is money. We do need money, and there are some things that only money can buy. However much time or skill people donate to us, Bessiana isn't going to learn Braille unless we've got the money to pay for her Braille teacher, which is a skill that no one else is able to share. So if you can commit to any money, then of course that's lovely. But almost everyone in this room has already given something of their money. Well, everyone has given by coming today, and often people here are some of our regular donors. But I've put on everyone's chair a sheet for gift aid. So that might be something that actually doesn't cost you any money now, but if you've made a donation, because of the way gift aid works, it could be retrospective. So even if you've made a donation to us in the last 2 years, by signing the form today, we claim the gift aid on any donations made in the last 2 years. That's how it works. So even if you can't afford to do anything more, but you know that you did give some money in the past, please sign the gift aid form. And you have to pay at least as much tax as the donation that you've made. And likewise, even if you haven't given any money and you can't afford to do that right now, giving us the gift aid form today while we're all physically present, and it then just stays on our records. If you give us a tenner at some point in the future, that then means that we can automatically claim it back. So it would help our systems if you just did that today, if you thought there was any chance of any donations. The other bit of the form on your chair is the for a regular standing order. And as Rob was explaining before, those are really so valuable to us. And I know that actually that's what charities always tell you. Those notes that you get through the door are always talking about that. And until I had a charity, I didn't understand what that meant. And we have, I think, 42, I think I'm right, 42 regular donors. Some of those are people who give £3 a month. One is someone who gives £400 a month. So, all of that means that we can add together the 400 and the 3 and the 10 and the this much and the that much, and that means that we know we've got the rent of our centre in Fushkosov covered every month, for example, or we know that the volunteer transport to do the Saturday activities is definitely covered, or we can then allocate that budget without ever having to apply for funding for it or worry about it. So whether your amount is 3 or 400 or somewhere in between, then that genuinely would be more use to us to know that we had, if you're thinking of giving 50 quid, giving us £3 a month and working out that you could do that for 12 months would be better for us. And so you could just fill in that form and leave it with us today, and we then send it off to your bank, and that would be your standing order set up. But not everybody has got money now, or maybe even in the future, so as I say, it's not just about money. The fourth way that you can support us is through goods. And we've already got a load of wonderful knitted blankets and things that Doreen's friends have given us for me to take back today. And Celia's given me some shoes to take, and we're always grateful for those things. I'd say the priority is baby stuff, because we have about 40 women attending our antenatal classes every week. And we try, and of course those are different 40 women as babies then get born and new women become pregnant. But it means that we are always looking for those baby packs to be sent out. And we sort of have a principle that we're never going to go and buy those. Whatever we have, we will distribute, but we're not going to go and spend money because we have no budget for those baby packs. So if you have any second-hand baby clothes, then that's great, or blankets. Children's shoes are also very useful. We never say no to anything, which is perhaps, Rob tells me that that's not always the best idea. But if someone gives us something to distribute, we will always take it. But those are the priorities for us. Baby clothes, then children's shoes, and then school bags, if any of you have contacts in schools, either as teachers or as where children go to school. So that's the fourth thing that you can help with, is with goods. The fifth thing that you can help with, I think, is the most underrated. People often don't even realise when they give us this, and yet this is what often makes the most transformational difference. And that is your social networks. And so it might be that you can't help with any of those things. You haven't got time and you haven't got money and you don't feel you've got transferable skills. But you know people on Facebook, you've got a large following on Twitter, or you have nothing to do with social media, but you have a local scout group, or you're a member of a church, or you have a school who would be interested in doing a project, or you'd like to invite me to come and talk to your local WI, or you can sort of see how those things work. And those networks have proved hugely beneficial to TIP over the last years, because of course in each of those talks I go and give, or when Alexander organises Lent lunches at his church, then it's not just that raises money, but it then engages all of the people who come to that Lent lunch or to come to that talk to in turn think about the money and the goods and the time and the skills and the social networks that they can contribute. So it has a multiplier effect. So please think if there's any way that you can be that multiplier through the connections that you have. See, I know I'm not going to remember the seventh, but I know what the sixth one is that you can help with, which is our products, our Sapun products. And whether that's selling individual ones through, to friends, or just telling people about it. If you like what you bought today, posting something about it on Facebook, or sharing it with a friend, trying to inspire other people to buy them. Or in a more systemic way, thinking about the tote bags. Is there an organisation that you're a member of who might like to place an order for 20 tote bags with their logo on it? Might your local museum or your local school or your local brownie pack or whatever like to have a branded tote bag? It doesn't cost us anything to put the logo on there any more than any other logo. So we can do a run of 5 and it still costs us the same amount as if we were doing 1 or 20 per bag. So we're very happy to do small amounts. We're very happy to do the design work to get that logo on there. So if you can think of a group who might like logos on their bags or on their lavender bags, we've already had some great suggestions for boutique hotels or people you know who've got businesses in hospitality, or soaps, or the cards, then please do that. And I guess the 7th, I think this is the 7th one I was going to think of before, but is thinking about fundraising in a multiplier way as well. So you've heard about the teapot party. You know, if you're interested in having a tea party yourself, or it doesn't have to be a tea party, it can be an evening drinks or a lunch or whatever, but inviting friends around, not just to raise money, but also to share what you know about it. We can give you leaflets and we can give you a PowerPoint that you can have playing on the background on a laptop or whatever. Then that's also a way of sharing, kind of being a multiplier in one of those other ways, for goods, for money, for skills, for people's time as volunteers. So maybe you can have a think about all of those 7 ways, and what I hope that you've been inspired by what you've heard today. I hope that it's made you think, yes, I'd like to either keep being engaged with TIP or do more with the Ideas Partnership. And if that is the case, try to pin yourself down to just one thing, even if it's small, that you can do. And I'd say try to think of something in the next month, otherwise it probably won't happen. You know, so try to think of something that you can do by the end of August. Otherwise, we might never get the benefit of all of the things that we've heard about today. So Rob and I are going to distribute the cards for you to write these down. We're going to take about 5 minutes, and I know Rob's going to have some things to say at the end.
Everyone today has brought something physical, something creative, something visionary, something very, very, very committed. And the results that we've just talked about, that's all you. And above all, and this is what really excites me about this event each time it's held, is the sense that we are part of a community that stretches out from the charming confines of Surrey University, as if by satellite, all the way to the other end of the continent. And it has tentacles that reach out in other parts of the country and the world as well. But I find it very, very powerful to think of those children being thought of by you, and you being thought of by them, all of those people who've met you today and who meet you through the things you donate or the people you meet when you visit. So thank you very much for being part of this community. It is an extraordinary and a powerful and a good thing in the world today. Thank you.